Hello everyone, my name is Marian Vețeanu and I'm here today with Claudiu Codranu to discuss about the Starlim's XFD to HTML5 Converter Assistant tool, a tool that got a substantial improvement as part of the Starlim's Technology Platform 11.5 release. Hello Claudiu, thank you for accepting the invitation.
You're welcome, thanks for having me.
So Claudiu, can you please tell in a few words what's the goal of the converter?
Sure, so when we talk about converting, we talk about two systems. On one hand, we have the legacy XFD system, which is our current platform. And on the other hand, we have the HTML5 technology, which is our strategy for the future. And the question is, can I preserve my investments in the current technology, which is years of work and a lot of knowledge in our current products and a lot of bug fixes, which I would like to preserve going to HTML5.
And why not people knowledge?
Yes, people knowledge also. So the question is, how can I preserve as much of it as possible without having to recreate everything from scratch? And obviously the best answer to this question is some kind of automation, something like a conversion tool, right? Which takes XFD on one hand and generates HTML5 as its output.
So Claudio, since we are talking only about the UI side, will gonna be the server side preserved completely?
Yes. Yes, so the server side, meaning server scripts and data sources, are going to be reused 100%. And they will be used transparently by both XFD and HTML5. Only the client side, meaning forms, code behind, and client scripts will be converted from XFD to HTML5.
Good, good. So everybody knows from that did XFD programming in the past that an XFD form has two parts. The XFD, the XML containing the layout of the form, and the code. You just mentioned that the converter takes care of both parts.
Yes, it does.
Correct?
It does. So the separation between presentation, meaning XML form definition, and behavior or code behind, which is JavaScript, is preserved also in HTML5. So XFD XML gets converted to HTML5 XML, and JScript.NET is converted to JavaScript, which is browser agnostic and cross-browser compatible, as opposed to JScript.NET, which is Microsoft only.
What standard of JavaScript are you supporting on this new platform?
We are supporting the ECMAScript 6 standard. Yes.
Okay, a very modern one.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I see that you brought your laptop with you. Can you please show us something?
Sure. So this is our Starlim's designer. The converter is very well integrated with the designer. And I have this application under V11 tutorials named XFD to HTML converter tests. I'm going to right-click and open that application.
This is an XFD application, Claude,
yes,
right?
This is an XFD application, yes. And like any other application, it has a collection of XFD forms, which I'm about to convert to HTML5.
Let's pick one.
So I can do either one at a time, or I can do the entire application in a single shot.
Even better.
Yes, this is faster and easier. So let me do that. So let me click on Convert to HTML5 on the application node. So I'm going to go to the log section of the designer, pick my name, and click on Refresh. So these are the messages left behind by the conversion job. It starts with the opening statement saying like converting application so and so. It ends with the done converting application, and in between we have messages about what happened in the meantime. So
we can see that the process finished, right?
It finished. It started. It finished, and more importantly, we don't have any errors. So
perfect.
These are just
that's always good news.
Positive diagnostic messages. Yes. So now, if I'm going to open this HTML forms node, inside it I'm going to have these newly created HTML forms, which mirror the existing XFD forms which were converted to HTML.
Perhaps I should choose an XFD forms first to see it and run it, and then maybe open the HTML form and see that it behaves the same.
Sure.
Eventually take a look at the code.
Yeah, let me start with a very simple one. Let's say call server. So this is the XFD form. I'm going to double click in order to open it up, and then I'm going to play that XFD form. And what it does, it takes two numbers and it adds those both locally on the client and remotely on the server side. So let's invoke the local functionality first. So 27 plus 3, if my math is correct, is 30, of course. And the remote add performs the same operation, but it delegates execution to the server side, which is a very common pattern in our product. So it returns 30 as well. And let's do the same for the HTML5 counterpart, which is this form here. I'm going to open it up. At design time, it looks just the same. However, when we play the form, it opens up in Google Chrome, which is our host player for Starlim's HTML5 form.
It's used for debugging purposes.
It's used also for debugging purposes, yes. It looks and feels the same at runtime, yes.
I'm interested, Claudio, in the second button. Does it invoke the same server script as the form that we saw before in XFD?
It definitely does, and we're going to see that in code shortly. So, but first let's try the functionality. So again, 27 plus 3, adding on the client side yields 30, which is correct. And remote add does the same operation on the server side, and it returns 30 as well.
That's great.
Yes.
That's great.
So now let's take a look at the code behind for each form. So this is the XFD one. This is what it looks like. It's very simple, but it makes use of JavaScript.NET specific constructs, such as type naming and type casting. However, in JavaScript, that's not possible. So what the converter does, it removes them from the code behind, as you can see. They are no longer there. And now talking about how do we invoke the remote add? If we go to the onClick event for that button, it calls this API, which is Limbs call server. That's in XFD.
So programmers should feel at home here. They should preserve their knowledge because it's the same API as in XFD.
Same exact API. So if you go to HTML5, look, the same API, Limbs call server. Same parameters, same syntax, same everything.
And even the structure of the code looks similar like the one in XFD with event handlers, with...
It's very hard to tell them apart. They look and feel the same. So you'll feel at home the very next day.
Can we say that it's virtually, the learning curve is virtually inexistent?
Yes. Okay. So all your skill will be applicable the next day. Good. So you don't have to learn much.
Claudio, one of the challenges in converting JavaScript.NET to JavaScript are the blocking calls, which are a little bit problematic in JavaScript.
Right.
How did we solve that? Do you have an example that
Yes,
you can
we
show?
do have an example. So we have this nice form here, which is XFD, which makes use of a blocking call, which is this one, dialogues.messagebox. This stops the execution until the dialog is discarded by the user. In JavaScript, that's normally not possible because JavaScript is based on callbacks. It doesn't halt execution in that place. So what we do, what the converter helps us do is this. So let's open the same code for the HTML5 form. And let's see what happened. So we can notice that in front of the same line, the converter placed an await keyword, which halts code execution in that place until the API returns. And it also decorated the function with the async keyword. Okay, so it makes use of the async await JavaScript pattern, which lets you create synchronous patterns, like in JavaScript.NET.
So this is a very modern feature in JavaScript. I'm glad we took advantage of it.
Yes. Otherwise, the alternative would be to write like callback structured code, which is very difficult.
Which is very difficult and discouraged nowadays. I'm glad we chose this approach.
This is much easier. So, and it lets you leave the code behind mostly unchanged. You don't have to refactor it to create callbacks.
Right, right. Maybe we should mention to our viewers that we plan to extend this pattern to other functions, such as the communication functions, in order to eliminate altogether the synchronous calls to the server side. Okay, that's a very impressive technology, Claudio. Thank you very much for accepting the invitation. And basically, right now, I want to transmit a message to the viewers. If you get a chance to play with this technology, please feel free to contact us for advices or for guidance if you have projects that would require HTML5. And see you next time.
Bye. See you next time.